Okay, we're going to get going here, guys. Today, we are really excited because we have Jon Vaughn, super intelligent, super smart guy, super kick-ass software engineer, is going to give you some basic Chatfield training so you can learn about bots. Take it away, Jon.
So chatbots are pretty cool. So we've got a full training course, right, Brenni? So we got a full training course that is not so basic, and it can essentially take you from not knowing anything about a chatbot, it's going to from that perspective where, oh, hey, I'm trying to run a business in 2018 and I don't know anything about technology and I'm gonna fail, or maybe you're not, but you need to know something. So we've got at that level, and that's kind of what we're gonna go today. But we've got an entire course of chatbot material, not just how to build it, but also how to relate that to your niche and how to, outside of building the logistics of the chatbot, to actually craft your offer and be actually creating the content, right? Because it's one thing to go in and actually talk about a chatbot, and I mean, it's one thing obviously to talk about a chatbot if we don't even know what a chatbot is, and then to actually have a conversation about, hey, what is this system? And I guess that is something that's always good to reiterate to everybody, just to start from right there, since the whole purpose of this is just a basic intro to what is a chatbot. So,
and why do you want one?
A chatbot is a piece of software. So you can think of a chatbot as a piece of software. What's a piece of software? You can think of Facebook as a piece of software, right? Your Gmail account is a piece of software. Like everything that you do on a computer is a piece of software. And a chatbot is essentially a piece of software. And what it facilitates is it facilitates the managing of messaging channels and communication channels. So you understand what a bot is, like. So maybe you're not all like hip with the internet and technology and stuff, but bots have been around for a long time. Essentially softwares that automate things. So a chatbot allows you to really automate communications. And why would you want that? Like, why would you want a chatbot? Why would you actually need a chatbot? Well, do you have people that would potentially chat with you and have a message with you through chat conversation? Like, to ask yourself in business, right? Like in business, why would you have a business? First off, to make some money, right? So in this endeavor of having a business and make this money, are you expecting that people are going to have textual communications with you and want to message you? All right, like through typing words on their keyboard. Now, maybe in a long time ago, when it was like the Wild Wild West and choo-choo trains and stuff, we just had some print media, and it's like your chatbot is something completely different. But if you're expecting to be able to compete and do business in the digital world and have people message you in the channels that your consumers are actively engaging on with, their friends and their family, if you want to be able to facilitate them also messaging you in those facilities, well, then you're going to want a chatbot. Why? Because what happens if you really want to scale, right? Well, even if you don't want to scale, let's say what happens if you don't want to scale and you just want to be a small little mom and pop. Do you really want to do repetitive stuff over and over and over and over and over again? Do you really want to answer the same questions 129 times because somebody asked you what your hours are, and actually have to take your time to go in and resolve that question, where the user can actually go in and find that information on their own, but is actually too lazy to go in and find that information, so they're just going to message you because it's actually quicker just to hopefully that they can ask somebody and that person can go look up the information and provide the information back. And that's an average user experience, especially if you want to target millennials. All right, if you perceive that a millennial, or probably even a Gen Xer, right, even one or two above a millennial now, you can expect that they're going to be on Facebook and they're going to be in some digital channel wanting to be able to interact with somebody and talk to somebody before they can make a transaction or to help facilitate a transaction. So that's why you want a chatbot, because a chatbot essentially allows you to take control over that messaging platform and to go in and dictate logical rules that allow you to automate much of your process, or get more useful information, or understand where you should apply focus at. So we could talk forever on why you would actually need a chatbot. So remember, a chatbot is just a piece of software that allows you to take control of a messaging channel and say, okay, messages are going to come in. I want to do something with those messages, maybe send messages out or perform some actions. So there's lots of different chatbot building applications. So ManyChat's one of them, Chatfuel's one of them, Botly's another one, Lambot's another one, Dashbot's another one. There's a whole lot of them. So does that kind of answer what a chatbot is, or do you think there's people out there that are still kind of like, man, I don't understand what this is?
I think the biggest question I get from people is what's the difference between ManyChat and Chatfield, because those are the two they know of. And my answer is ManyChat is much easier. Chatfield has more features. So to me, it would be like, if you want to learn bots, start with ManyChat and then go to Chatfield, because there's so many more options as you've been showing me as I'm learning. But guys, to me, it's like an autoresponder.
Well, my analogy would be kind of like, what's the difference between a Range Rover and a Hummer, right? Mm-hmm. So that they're kind of the same thing, right? But would you want to take your Range Rover and just like go through safaris and stuff? Not really. Your Hummer, yeah, your Range Rover is going to cost you much more, and your Hummer is kind of more functional. So what's the difference between them? I mean, they're two different companies, obviously, and they provide kind of the same thing in a little bit different way. So.
Yeah, what I mostly say, even John, to the customer is it's messenger marketing. Then they understand, because a lot of people, when they are new, they don't know what chatbots is. It's very scary for them. And messenger marketing is a more common word, so then they understand.
And I like it, because you're telling them it's a message and you're doing marketing.
Yeah, I
agree. You're gathering clients and automation. So yeah, I really like that. So let's jump in, guys. For those of you that want to learn a little bit more about Chatfield, John's going to walk you through it.
So essentially, we have like the next kind of thing is that, so everybody understands what a chatbot is. It essentially it connects to your Facebook Messenger and allows you to chat and automate chat processes and automate workflows. So advantages of using a chatbot: saving time, so saving a lot of time, automating, transferring data, automating different processes. So providing content and being able to reach and broadcast out messages and essentially promote and advertise to people and stay connected to your audience. Facilitating sales transactions, facilitating order statuses, all sorts of good things that are advantages of using a chatbot. So what is a bot actually, and how can it help you talk to your users? So this is all just still theoretical, and we're going to get into actually look into Chatfuel. But remember, this is a really basic course to start you off if you don't know anything about chatbots, because of my philosophy is you want to understand basics instead of it. You want to fully understand something so you actually know what you can really do with it. So the bot essentially, the bot, when we're talking about Chatfuel, right? So we got to understand that a chatbot is not Chatfuel. There is a Chatfuel chatbot. There's a lot of different platforms. So the bot itself, what it is literally is just a system of logic, a system of conditions that you can mostly think of. If a user says this, then say this, or do this. All right. So how it can help talk to people, obviously, is because if you can understand that the chatbot's just a little software, and it's like a little person, and it can read messages. So it like has its own little, let's say, conscious mind, because you have a conscious mind, and you go in and declare rules, and you make what people call flows, or you make what people call blocks, little blocks of content that have some routing and some information where you're allowing your user to say, hey, here's some words, here's some actions, press some buttons. Kind of like a sales funnel. You can think a sales funnel is kind of the same. You have a little funnel with some information. Now, what's the big difference between a sales funnel and a chatbot? Well, at a sales funnel, you're essentially just dumping a user off, and you're giving them pretty much all the content. Everything's on one screen, and they're kind of like there. And hopefully, you stick your CTAs out someplace where they, actually call an action and get a user to click and go in and continue in your little funnel. Well, a chatbot kind of does the same thing. So you can think of inside a chatbot, you're also going to have chat funnels, little content funnels. But the kind of difference is, and the main difference is that you're going to be feeding the content out to the user and in a more controlled environment where you're going to be dishing them out little snippets of content, waiting for them to interact with that, and then giving them some more content, because what hopefully that you're doing is not just arbitrarily, I mean, although you could create arbitrary little utility chatbots that people will engage in and they'll use because they get the utility, and you can obviously collect information and use that information to remarket to them and sell affiliate products. So I don't want to say hopefully you're not going to create an arbitrary chatbot, and that as long as you can understand the big difference between creating an arbitrary chatbot that essentially shows pictures of cats for no reason versus creating an arbitrary chatbot that shows pictures of cats for a reason, that it's going to show those pictures of cats and then it's going to find information about those users and then find some breakthrough way to correlate some products with people who resonate with random pictures of cats and make transactions. Those are two completely different dogs. One's a stupid arbitrary chatbot and one's a way to make money.
So John, a block would be, an example of a block would be how they registered, where you get to choose your day and time.
That's correct. Here's a example of a block in Chatfuel, and we're going to get into all this in this training, but here's an example of a block in Chatfuel. So, this is essentially a welcome block. This is whenever somebody first comes into your chatbot. So when a new user comes into your chatbot, they're going to go right into this welcome message. And I'm first, like what I'm doing is I'm looking at some data that's coming into the chatbot and deciding whether I want to route them out of this block and put them somewhere else because I don't want them in this welcome message, or if I want them to finally see a welcome message. If I've decided based on some data that I've given to the chatbot, whenever this user first comes into the chatbot, then if I decide that I don't want him in this welcome message, I want to, for example, send him somewhere because I realize that he came into the chatbot on an affiliate link. And because of that, I want to send him over to some other block that isn't a standard welcome message. It's a way for me to tag this person that he was just referred into my chatbot by a person and essentially route him where the affiliate has told me that they want their users to be routed to, which is called the affiliate welcome screen. So you can see a really good example of blocks and conditions that are saying, sorry, my monkey.
That's George.
That's George, guys. He entertains us.
He is in a transition of receiving the high level knowledge from the animal.
He wants to teach bots. He's like, I got this training. I've heard my dad over and over. He's gonna
right. So this is a good example of a block. You can see that, and this is a real big difference between MiniChat and Chatfuel. Is for people who want to ask the difference in between MiniChat and Chatfuel. And honestly, I didn't really think of making another just like the Chatfuel training and just like the MiniChat training, making an in-depth, like comparison of the two. Other than the fact that I'm not technically legally allowed to use MiniChat anymore, But so this is a good example of a block. You can see.
Okay, John. One question: is it always start with the welcome message, or can you choose?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't always start with the welcome message. So definitely, most of the time no, it doesn't always. It can, and a welcome message serves as a default entry point unless you specify another entry point. So a good example of that, and this is jumping past some of the basics, which we will get into, but that's kind of the cool nature of live training, is that you can kind of go and give value where it's really needed. A good example to answer that question is essentially like this right here. All right. This is an entry point because I've made this thing called a ref URL. So this is a little bit more technical information. You can see you have a URL here. And if you want to do business in the internet and you want to understand anything about the internet, you should really understand the basics of what's going on here. You have a URL and you have what's called URL parameters. So which allows you to some website send traffic and know some information like a UTM, a universal tracking matrix, where you can send that UTM and say, hey, this piece of traffic originated from this affiliate source, or from this source sent me over this traffic. So those are all embedded as URL parameters. So Facebook by default gives you something called a ref, and that ref allows you to pass data into the chatbot. So you can do something like say, hey, if that ref equals get group membership, then I want the user not to go into the welcome block, which is where they're going to go by default if they hit this website right here. But because I passed in this ref parameter and I've made a condition that says, hey, if the ref actually equals this thing right here, get group membership affiliate links, then put them into this block right here, which this block will say, hey, when a user gets put in this block, he will say, hey, is this person already a group affiliate? If he is, he doesn't need to become a group affiliate. He needs to go get his affiliate links, so send him over there. If not, tell this dude, look, if you want to be an affiliate, we're going to need your email address. Let's get your email address. And then once we get your email address, send that email address out to our external application to store your email address and do some accounting that we have a new registered affiliate, because in the rest of our chatbot, that affiliate's going to be able to do stuff in the chatbot and make sales, and we want to track all that externally outside the chatbot.
Now, I can tell you a tip I learned here yesterday. Guys, this is why it's good to learn the basics for everybody, because then you can help others. I didn't have those in order, so I was doing the JSON and wanting to add it to the spreadsheet with Zapier, and you have to have those in order. So I had below what it was supposed to be gathering. So I didn't understand that the order that you're going down the blocks in have to be in order. So if I'm telling it I want the email to put on the spreadsheet, I have to do that before that JSON. That was a 3-hour ordeal for me to figure out. So I just want to help anyone who, so you don't do that.
Yeah,
well,
so it saves you 3 hours.
You do, and that's one of the things that I would definitely, that as we progress in this training, remember this training here, and we have structured training courses, so this training here is essentially meant to go down from a top down, and I've noticed so many different ways in training. Like you can do just everybody shut up and take this content, and at the end, we will ask questions, or let's have a more engaging process where as we go, people can ask questions and we'll stop and clarify them, which leads to lots of different deviations, which can get really technical, like that ref URL, because that's a real answer to a question. So as we get in this training, you'll see that we have all the information that you need to know. But yes, you do need to understand in Chatfuel, as you start to understand a block, that these blocks are linear. So it's essentially, if you could think of a linear block, this block is linear. What I mean by that is to draw a little diagram, you can say, hey, see this thing right here? We'll call this the cloud, this magical thing where the internet's at. And somebody can go from that internet thing and they can go into your chatbot, and this is your chatbot. And remember, that chatbot is just a little software application, and that chatbot can route them where they need to go, whether it was this block, this little welcome block, or whether it's this block right here, because we're telling them to go to this block. Now, once they get in this block for Chatfuel, the main thing you need to understand is if you're not a software engineer, maybe you don't know about sequential programming, but it's one of the core constructs that you need to understand in logic to be able to be a software engineer. One of them is just, sequential, a linear process of an algorithm. You can think, everybody has an algorithm, and that's programming is pretty straightforward. Everybody should understand a function, because you got a function. To be realistic, we can describe it, go poop function, right? Hopefully, you like have a stomach, like a stomach thing. You go to the toilet, you poop, you flush, wipe your butt, wash your hands. Hopefully, if we ask everybody to describe that function, they would come up with something really similar to this is the process, right? And you can see how that's a top-down. It's a sequential thing. So that's the main thing that you need to understand. And now there's lots of other programming constructs, which we're going to understand one right here, which is essentially a conditional clause, an if block. And if this, then that, else this, then that, right? Then we have another real core construct, which is an iteration, a loop, right? Continue to do this for X amount of times or while this other condition is true. So yeah, we do have all those constructs, but the first thing that you really need to understand is this is always going to be a top-down thing. Meaning what you were saying, and this is a little bit later on in the training, what you were saying, trying to send data to Zapier, which we were doing. You need to make sure first, before you try to send that data to Zapier, you're collecting that data. If you send the data to Zapier first and then afterwards collect the data, then that is going to work only once you crack Newtonian physics and you can play time backwards. Whenever you can play time backwards, that will work. Until
I
then,
did attempt to time travel and it did not work. So
so if you wanted to make sure, my suggestion would be, if you are that smart, you can break the laws of physics. My suggestion would be have one before and one after. That way you're good whether you're going forward or backwards.
either way, man. We'll get
As
the
you're moving.
physicist. Who knows? We might be able to figure it out when you hire the physicist.
That I have some physicists on my board because
I know you do. I'm reading your mind right now.
they are
Scary.
they're very necessary for lots of things. But
So we don't mess around, guys, in this community-owned software company. That's what Jon has, Tier5, and we're part of, and we absolutely love it. And one of his specialties is messenger bots. And we actually bought a bot as a group that we use for our business. And we just love the automation and we love the information, and you can send a broadcast out at any time. And why I love it is people are on Facebook and you're getting their messages. I hate opening emails. I mean, I don't even go out there. It's usually in spam. And so you can always get in touch with people and be active. And then that information's already in there. I can go back. That's what I like. Go back in the bot.
Yeah,
and
and
find
do you
the
know,
link.
Brenni? Do you know, Brenni, also, because now with email marketing, I have email marketing, I use Active Campaign, and hardly touch it anymore because I'm now really into the bots. It's so addicting, it's so effective.
It's addicting. And you don't even have to build a website. They build a website for you too.
Yeah, sure. So it's not only very effective, but also addicting. And email. So I think it's also very important because you have to also to build your email list, but you can do that also through your bots. But I hardly touch it.
Your email list. What you should be doing is you should be taking links to your chatbots and putting them inside your email list and associating that person across multiple channels. So you can be like, hey, yes, am I going to stop sending you emails? No, I'm probably still going to send you emails to stay in that space. And then whenever I want to really prod an action, I'm going to reach out to you on Messenger maybe and ping you on Messenger.
Yeah.
You want to get to people as many ways as you can when you're doing live streams, sending emails, text messaging, bots, any way you can get in front of people. Because like I'm a text messenger, I like messengers, texting and bots. So you can send me emails all day and I'm not going to open them. You'll never get to me.
Yeah, I have the same.
So can we assume that everybody knows how to create a business page in Facebook and why that's necessary?
Yes, and especially 99% of the people here because we all worked on our persona pages.
So this is really necessary, and it's part of, remember, and this training is all recorded already, so you can just actually go in and watch a top-down level of the course. So this is really necessary, how to configure the send message button. So that send message button is just a button on your page where if you're on some Facebook page, so if you're on some Facebook page, there's a call to action on a Facebook page, on your business page. And if you want to really build your messenger list, you want to encourage users by having a call to action that says, hey, send me a message there. So how do you configure that? And it's really easy to configure. So I can skip that too because we can assume everybody really knows how to do that. What is a greeting text and how to configure it to Facebook? This is also not really specific to a bot. This is specific really to Facebook Messenger, all right? So, and people should understand, to be clear, that there is a bot, and a bot is just a piece of software that can automate stuff for you and do stuff for you, all right? There is a chatbot, all right? Now, this is the same concept. It's a piece of software that can automate stuff for you, and specifically what it's going to do is manage communication channels and incoming communications and help you make sense of those and automate those. You guys can all relate to that if you have Siri, if you have Google Assistant. You can also relate. There is a chatbot. Now, is that a Facebook Messenger chatbot? No, it's not. That is a different bot, but you can see that is a chatbot. All right, so Chatfuel is for Facebook Messenger. So that's all we're going to talk about whenever we're talking about chatbots, because it's all for Facebook. So this isn't really specific to a bot. This is just specific to your messenger that pops up. So this guy is just essentially, when a guy pops up here, you have a little message that shows here that is another way for them to another way for them to see information about you right here. This is your.
John, you gave me a tip on that message though. You said mine was too long. You don't want them scrolling.
No, that was a completely different message.
Oh.
They can't scroll on this message. This message is limited, I think, to 360 characters. But this is your getting started message. So in Facebook, in Chatfuel, you don't have a place to go set this. You just literally go over to your settings, and then you go inside. This messaging tab right here, and that's where a couple of these points are. So we can just jump right over that. How to do this? It's just in here. There's a whole bunch of settings that you should look at in Messenger because it gives you tools on, and that's all done in the training. But I'm going to kind of jump over that and just look at your greeting. This is your greeting right here. So you can set your greeting right here. It says show messenger greeting. You can turn it on and then give what your actual greeting is. I've already set mine, and you can see it if you look at the page. So that's obviously necessary because you can tell if somebody has a bot on their page just by looking at their page. And clicking send message, and if you see get started at the bottom, that means that they are using a bot. Now maybe they have a good bot, maybe they don't have any type of bot at all, any good bot at all, but they are actually using what it means is they're using a software to take incoming messages and process them somewhere else in addition to the Facebook inbox, which is what a chatbot is. So this is obviously a great place for you to encourage somebody, again, like why they want to click this thing right here and start a conversation with you, all right? So you can see mine, it says, hey, I'm Jon Vaughn, an expert level software developer and something like a business automation ninja, all right? Because I am. I mean, that's an accurate description of how I would describe myself. Brief introduction about the Chatfield platform. So we kind of talked about that already, right? The Chatfield platform is to get you up to speed. Really, all you need to know is it is a sophisticated software that allows you to create messenger bots on Facebook. So now, if you understand what a chatbot is, Chatfuel facilitates you creating those chatbots on Facebook. So, how to create a bot? Wow. I'm going to do that first, and then I'll do a brief overview of all the tabs in Chatfuel. All right, and it's not that daunting. And you know what? I could come in and actually show you. This is a simple. Here's a real simple. Like you log into Chatfuel, and now you're not going to have all these bots here unless you've created all these bots. All right, but you just start. You create a bot, and this is about how simple it is. So. I just clicked a button 2 times. Now I have a bot. That was relatively easy. It's empty. The only thing that exists here is going to be some content in my welcome message and some content in my default answer. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to be here. So now I got a bot. All right. So that was like magic. All right. Now I got a bot. Now what? Now, what am I going to do with this bot? Well, hopefully I got a business. Hopefully I got my shit together, right? And I got a business. That business got a Facebook page. I got some message. I got some thing that I'm going to try to do. So what is that, right? So I'm going to go in and say what this bot is about. You know, this is my hair salon. And these guys have templates for hair salons already if you want a hair salon. So now I should have some Facebook page, right? Hopefully I got some Facebook page that represents that hair salon. And look,
Jon, sorry to interrupt you, but I don't need a hair salon, sorry.
Okay. So let's say
you actually do. You need a wig.
I need a wig.
Let's say I want to create a bot for Chatfuel training, and this is part of the Chatfuel training bot. So you don't need a hair salon, but so you rename this, you call it whatever you want, whatever your business is. Hopefully you got a Facebook page for it. That's the main thing that you need to get really going on your bot. Although you don't have to have your page ready, it should be ready. So you want a coaching business. Let's have a coaching business. That's another thing. We need a page. All right. So you can see here's your bot. Now all you need to do is connect it to a page. All right. So I don't really want to connect it to any of these pages because it's not a bot that actually goes with any of them. So all I'll connect it to this page randomly though, because I'm not using that and I don't have a bot there. So now I've got a bot on this page. What does that mean? That if I come right here to this link, this is now a bot. This is going to open on Messenger. This is going to open on Messenger, and here's a bot right here for SaaS phone, which is just some random Facebook page that I have. All right. So now I got a chatbot. Now what? Now I need to understand the real basics of a chatbot, right? So to really get into Chatfuel though, the one thing that I really got to make people understand that if you want to do this, if you want to build a bot, and if you want to go in and actually build a bot that's really going to help you and not make you look like an idiot, and by not make you look like an idiot, I mean, if you can understand, if you go in and you do something and you make that accessible to people who could possibly be interacting with you or wanting to interact with you in a transaction, and it looks like you don't take pride in what you do or you don't actually know what you're doing, that's going to resonate most likely in the value of the services that they're going to perceive that you're going to offer to them, all right? So keep that in mind. And the reason I'm telling you that is because if you don't understand what, even like right now, if you're still trying to figure out, okay, what really is a chatbot or how could I really use it, you should expect to have to actually spend some time and take action and use your brain and actually understand how to build this and how it works. And if I, like my training, all right, my training is over 20 hours worth of training and that training does not teach you that. Unfortunately, I wish it did. I wish time was like everybody could just learn at such a quantum rate that it could teach you everything that you need to know to actually take how to build the bot and translate that into your offer and your message and your branding and your use cases, how it relates to your business. But it does not do that. It allows you the facilities to know how to use a platform and everything that you can do with the platform so that you can begin to go in and actually evaluate how that thing could serve you purpose in all your use cases according to your brand and your message and your offer, depending on whether you're the hair salon or you know, you're the coach that needs a bot, or whether you're me, you're the software company that also needs a bot for lots of reasons. Like I have bots. Another great use case, I have bots in my software that when you log into the software, if you have a feature request, which is great for me, if a dude requests a feature and he's like, you know, I would love this, and it's a simple thing for me, that dude is a happy customer and will refer people. And it's like, they build a feature just for me, like I ask them in the next day, and you just submit it in the chatbot. Something doesn't work, you submit it in the chatbot, you know? As much as I would love to say I want a person there listening to all that, I don't. I want the person there fixing anything or adding those new features in, not doing intake of information. Let an automation do that for me, all right?
John, I can attest to that because I've told everybody how awesome you are because you did the rotating URL with Link Wizard for us. And that's made a huge difference.
Not for us, for you, Brenni.
For me. And everybody gets to benefit. You're welcome. But what it was, guys, is I said to him, we really love you and we love what you're doing and we want to be a part of it. So we wanted to live stream, but we want to be sharing, rotating our affiliate links. So like Wasili gets one, then I get one, then Lindsay, then Jane when we do our show. So yes, I've told everybody about him and I'm a very happy customer because it took maybe 2 days. I don't even think it was 2 days, just like that.
You got to understand that there's a big difference between there's a difference between elapsed time and production time. In 2 days, I can essentially give you about 97 days worth of production in 2 days with me. Like literally, if you wanted to hire, like if some person really wanted to just be like, hey, I want to hire you and take you to full capacity, in 2 days we would accomplish about 97 hours worth of production.
He's got lots of projects going on.
So and the whole reason I'm saying this is so that you understand that there is a lot of information here. So it may not everything, you may not have an aha moment, and like maybe you have already had an aha moment, like I can understand why this would really be important and why I'm gonna start to need this system, right? And you could even start to extrapolate. But to be able to build it and be able to actually implement that, you're gonna have to either invest some money and pay somebody to do it for you, do a great job at networking and know somebody who can do it and somehow coerce them to do it for free, or take the time to actually understand it and then take action on the understanding and actually implement it, okay? So I just want you to be prepared that you're gonna have to have your brain and go over, especially for this, a brief overview for all the tabs in Chatfuel. Now you see we've already did this, right? We've already created a bot and we've renamed it and we've connected it to our Facebook page. So all this has been really kind of, honestly for me, it's been like at 20% right now of my speed of trying to get this information in people's heads. So brief overview of all the tabs in Chatfuel. So brief overview, you got the automate tab. This automate tab is where all your blocks are. Your blocks essentially contain all your content. And Chatfuel, they're grouped into groups, all right? So that you can kind of understand, for example, here's a group, the JV team, and this contains a lot of different blocks for my personal team members where they can, join a team and I can figure out who they actually were referred by. And if they were referred by me, I can say, yeah, you can join my team. If not, you need to contact your team leader. And just a bunch of stuff about the JV team is here in this group. Here's another group. This is a software bundle group. Here's another group. This is just a group of helpers. This is a really necessary group because these are just, if you can understand, anonymous functions, just little helper functions that could help you do something. And there's standard ones that I would recommend that you have, like a clear, right? Let's say you've got this, and I'm an engineer, so it's easy for me to understand a lot of this, but let's say you got this customer, right? And you got a customer, or you got a person, a prospect. And these guys are little objects, right? They've got names, they've got genitalias that determine whether they're male or female. They've got all these informations and characteristics about them. And you're gonna collect some information on these little objects and store that information, right? And you can see over time, you may wanna reset this person. And you may wanna say, hey, let's pretend this is the first time I ever know anything about this person, and I wanna clear all this data. Well, you can imagine over time, if you start today building your chatbot, and if I build a chatbot and I work on it for, let's say, for 2 weeks, I've been working on it for 2 weeks, I got like 200, 300 touch points and pieces of information that I'm storing. So for me to really even remember like everything that I've stored and make sense of it, and then try to go in and actually reset it easily, I would want some type of thing that would go in and walk down all those important things and say, hey, set these guys back to nothing because I want to get rid of this on some function. So this is a helper. This is a good idea, a good thing of a helper function, what helper functions can do. So these are just little helper blocks, and they're in a group. So hopefully you can understand you got these little groups, and you got blocks, and blocks are where your content's going to live, and your functions. Your functions are your actions, your automations. So and all this will come together as you start to really understand all these tabs together, all right? So you've got groups, and then you've got sequences. So you understand that you've got blocks, and these blocks are essentially your sequences. Let's say, for example, we'll just look at a couple blocks. This block is add software user. Brenni, I was also, here's a great case, a great use case of a bot, all right? I've got a team, and on my team, we have meetings, and I wanted to query my team, is there any suggestion that you have for the meeting? And one of my team members was like, yes, how do we manage our user accounts in the chatbot? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to build that in the chatbot. So I started building that in the chatbot, all right? So in the chatbot, I added a group of blocks so that people on my team, they can go into the chatbot and they can add users, all right? So now you can understand, we'll get to this AI block, and this AI block, let's just get to it right now and talk about it because it's really simple. You got groups, and in those groups, you can group up little groups of logic that we call AI, okay? So and that's just for nothing but organization. That's only for organization, so you can write all these little rules, and if you got a million rules, you can go in and find the one you want because you know it should be in a little group, all right? And what are these little rules? These little rules are what you can really consider really, really basic token matching. No, there is not NLP. If you don't know what NLP is, stick around for the full course because that is something that people go to college for 8 years, 9 years on and write theses about that can really be condensed down into here's the gist of what you need to know about, natural language, a science that's been emerging ever since we were, monkeys or, transcendence from the Anunnaki or whatever, like George. So this is basic token matching, all right? Meaning that if someone sends you a message, do math, you want to respond to them with this do math block, all right? We've got these blocks that we've been talking about that lives in these little groups. So you can understand, here's something that we're gonna use right now in the example, in this AI. If a user says add user, all right? So if I got a user over here and he's in this Tier 5 chatbot, all right? And he comes in here and he performs a little function, just like you would think in programming, add user, all right? He performs that function, then some information is given to him. And you can see that information. Hey, if he says add user, then the bot is gonna respond back with this add main user, okay? So if I double click, I can open that block and I can look and I can see, hey, look, if this person that just put in this function, if they are not set, so if their value is not set, then that means they are not on the JV team. So if they were on the JV team, this would be true. So if it's not set, they're not on my team. So they need to go to can't add users because this function is not enabled for them because they're not allowed to add users. It's not a feature that they get. So if they want that feature, they can join the JV team, and that's what can't add users will do. Can't add users will essentially go in and say, hey, you, to unlock this feature, go to the JV team, and it will send them to not a JV team member, which will say, hey, here's the benefits for joining the JV team. So you should join the JV team. That way, if you want to add user, function will work. All right. So if he hit add user and he is on the JV team, then we're going to say, hey, look, here's the balance in all your user accounts. Give me the email address that you want me to set up a user account for. And then I'm going to ask you, hey, do you want to add a user to this software, RoboContact? If you say yes, I'm going to send you over here to the add RoboContact user, and I'm going to send some data out to the internet, and I'm going to say, hey, create this user account for me, and then I'm going to walk down the rest of the line and say, hey, do you want to add a user to this other software? If you say no, I'm going to be like, what about this other software? If you're like, no, I'm going to be like, what about this other software? If you're like, yes, this is Link Wizard, I'm going to send you over here. Well, I technically haven't built the same thing, but you can imagine that it's going to look very similar to this function where I'm going to go out to the internet, I'm going to say, hey, create this user in this software, and then I'm going to ask you the last software. Well, what about this guy? All right. So you got to understand that blocks are like these little chunks of content, or they could just be raw functions that, you know, you've got a chunk of content and you've got two options, two buttons. A user hits yes or hits no, and because of that, you want to send them to a function to send out their data or to go get some data from somewhere and give them that data. So, or give them more content, give them more options. So you understand kind of what blocks are, or what groups of blocks are. Now see, these sequences in the Automate tab, they're really similar. They're really similar to blocks and set for, you can think of them as a drip campaign of blocks, all right? So if we create a sequence, you can see that it references a block right here. So, I mean, there is a block right here. This is a block, all right? And here is a sequence where if I add somebody, if I go in, let's say in this block right here, I decide to add a user to a sequence, all right? I could add a user to new sequence 1 right here. So for some reason, a user is going to get popped into this block right here. And whenever he gets to this block, I'm just going to say add him to the sequence. For example, it could be my 5-day bot challenge, or my 7-day weight loss challenge, or my, you know, go out and get live challenge, or I mean, it could be my you know, bi-weekly promo, or it could be whatever series of actions or tasks or messages I want to deliver to this person. So even as a non-marketer, I can think of a million use cases that you could have, you know, like look, I want to send this dude a message, and then 1 day later, I want to send him another message if he meets this condition, and then 7 days later, because I want to keep talking to him until he buys something, or he's like, dude, leave me alone.
You know, John, what I thought about that is, you know, I don't like emails, but I have like drip campaigns that people buy, like Declutter, for example. It's like an 18-day drip campaign where they would get 1 message a day. Boom, right there, just like that. Yep. The other thing I absolutely love, guys, as long as we're talking about coaching, and we know there's a lot of coaches on here, is the big aha when you explained how things go on a spreadsheet. Just think of the success steps like you work with us. You can keep what's going on with your students in the bot, put it on the spreadsheet, and you could track, did they do it? Did they do their success steps? Did they complete the projects? I mean, to me, that was my like super big aha as a coach and short on time. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And then like Wasili and I work together so he can go out to the spreadsheet, review and say, okay, because we work different time zones. I'm like, he's going to bed when I'm getting up. And so it works great. He can go out there, get that information, follow up with our students.
Yeah, do you know, Brenni, also, I work now for 1 year with bots, so started with ManyChat, but I never thought you can use a bot for this, like Jon does. Using spreadsheets, accountability, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's really awesome that you can use it also for a special, like we do with teams. So,
yeah, you know what, I look at him as my coach and mentor. I've learned so much being in Tier 5, being part of Tier 5. I thank you because you are helping me automate my business and bring in new clients and more clients and being very professional. So thank you, Jon.
Well, I'm not super, I mean, a lot of people would attest that I'm not super professional. I would disagree, and I would say, you know, I'm myself, and that's about as professional as you can get. I'm myself, and I do my job, and you can rest assured that if I tell you I can do something and I will do it, that I'm gonna do it according to my own personality, and it's actually gonna get done. So I like to think I'm really professional. So
yeah, but I think also, Jon, so now we're working with you, I think 4 or 5 weeks or something like that. I'm now a long time in online business, but I never made, for example, so quick online money as in your team, because really high demand products and people really like bots and the software you make. So I think in 4 weeks I made I think now $350 on the
bots are
yeah, and only organic, so you know what I mean, so no Facebook ads or that kind of stuff, only through networking and so contacting people.
I agree with you because since I've met Jon, let me see, I've made $400 plus I've had 2 signups in Builderall.
Yeah, also, yeah.
So you got like 3 or more. So I mean, it's like there's all these things that bots do that give you time to do other stuff. So you guys, are you sick of returning messages? Like you get ping, ping, ping all the time? Gee, Wasili, bet you wish you would have had a bot about 2 weeks ago, huh? Wasili wasn't sleeping. It's like ping, ping, what are bots? So guys, this automates it so you get some sleep and so you don't get divorced. And when your wife is like, what are you doing again?
Yeah. She thinks that too. When I'm in the evenings, when I'm talking with you about bots, she don't understand what it is. So okay, we keep it like that.
Yeah. Well, welcome to my bubble. I do feng shui. Nobody knows what that is. Okay, back to the bots. So we are talking about
the bots are awesome.
Sequences are like a drip campaign of blocks, right?
Correct. I mean, use cases where I've used them personally. So like personal use cases for me, remember what I do, I run a software company and I sell software. So even I'm not a marketer, but I'm trying to figure that out on the internet, you know, with you guys and other people on the internet. Like I'm networking with those people to try to figure out, you know, I'm really good at what I do, which is build software, but how to be on the internet, like how to actually get out there. So what I've used them, for example, is tech tips. Let's say I have people that come to my bot and they subscribe and I just give them valuable snippets of tech, of things that I know if I bring it to their mind, they may not have knew it, but if they now know it and they can remember it, will save them, you know, lots amount of time. If I just remind you and give you, you know, some shortcuts on your keyboard that can keep you from having to spend, you know, 45 seconds doing something, right? And it's going to be something that you do 7 or 8 times a day, then how much value did I just create for you? How much time am I actually saving for you? So I just give out little tech tips like that, you know, every single day. I got another sequence that it's for people that want to get motivated. Like I've got a little drip sequence that says get motivated every day, and I just give you quotes from Tesla or from Einstein or from Buddha or from Plato or Socrates that may or may not motivate you, but it puts something in your mind, and I just send you some message to get you some thoughts. I sell a bot course, obviously. So I sell lots of software development services, and courses that I've created on how to teach people how to do stuff. And obviously going into this whole transition into, you know, really being let's say an internet marketer and a digital marketer and making your money on the internet through your own social presence is not something that comes natural to me. So I had to figure out lots of different things, even as smart as I am as an engineer and to understand stuff, I had to, it's not like I was just magically in my DNA. It's imprinted from my mom, dad, that how to be an online marketer. It's not. So another use case is I went in and created like little snippets of my course that are really super valuable. Like for example, something that's called a ghost broadcast that you'll learn in my course, which allows you to send a message to every single user that they never get, that manipulates them and manipulates data about them and recalculates information so that you can hyper target them onto what you want to do with them. Like get rid of them because you don't want to pay for them, or send them more content because you need some more content. Because let's face it, Brenni, you're lazy, right? You want to automate your business because essentially all people are lazy, right? So imagine the scenario where you are automating your stuff and you're automating a lot of this intake and a lot of this pre-qualification, a lot of this messages, and because of that you're lazy, and now you're lazy on top of that. So even this data gets away from you, and you got 15 people out there that should be buying stuff from you, and they're not because you don't even know where they're at because you build a lazy system. So ghost broadcasts allow you to go in and reorganize that information and pull data to light to yourself to figure out, hey, these dudes came in 6 days ago and they haven't got enough valuable content for me to jump over the transactional bridge or give me some money. So I'm going to send them out some more content. All right. So I took like little valuable snippets of information like that, like how to connect your Facebook ads to your chatbot so that whenever somebody sees your Facebook ad and they click on something, they're in your chatbot, they're a subscriber, and you can put them through some pre-qualification process and maybe instantly get them on the phone because they're ready, they're interested in buying a $1,500 training. If you're the coach, or they're interested in buying your gym shoes or whatever it is that your ad is about. They're interested in voting for you or hearing more about why they should turn up at the polls or whatever you're running ads about. I don't know what you're running ads about. For me, it's software stuff. For me, it's like literally my softwares. So I chopped those little value bombs that those marketers call it, right? I just gave them away for free in like a 7-day sequence every day. And then after that, I'm like, hey, present a bot course. You want to buy? Yes. Don't want to buy? Well, maybe you need a little bit more. Is there any other stuff I can give you? If not, at the end of that, then guess what? You go from a little thing up here to like a nothing. Like I've exhausted all the free things I want to give to this person before he converts, and he hasn't converted. So like I'm gonna try to catch another fish instead of stay here at this spot until I die. So you kind of understand what the sequences are. It's just a block, and then you put schedules on them. You can go in and now create these little drip campaigns where you drip out messages, and you can use that for all sorts of stuff. Follow up sequences to clear out data after some time, where you only want to store data for X amount of time, and after some time you want to get rid of it. So that pretty much goes over everything in the automate tab, except for this welcome message and default message. We kind of touched on the welcome message before. This is just by default when somebody comes into your bot where they're going to go unless you otherwise specify. All right. The default answer is essentially the block that if a user sends you a message and your bot doesn't have any of these things in the AI that says, hey, if he sends this, do this, then you're going to go into that default block, that default answer, because your bot doesn't know what to do. All right. So that's a really good place. You'll learn further down the training. That's a really good place just to have one simple integration where you send that dude off to a more complex AI, like an actual natural learning, a natural language processor, a guy that actually takes account of all the information that's coming in and tries to get you to tell him what that information's about so he can learn what people are communicating and how that relates to content that you want to deliver. So it's a good entry point. That's one of the great things about Chatfuel is it fires every single time. So other bot platforms, this thing will only fire every 24 hours, and Chatfuel, it fires every single time. Which, what does that mean to you? What that means to you is you need to make sure that you have, do not in here, I would say do not in here. One of the things I could say is have a message, just like that. Because what that means is if a dude goes in and messages your chatbot something and you're been lazy and don't have an AI for it, he's going to receive a message. And if he's like, hey, what's a message mean? And you don't have anything defined for that, he's going to receive a message. And he's going to be like, I'm confused. And if you don't have anything for that, he's going to be like, a message. And he's going to get to the point where he's smashing his phone or he's cursing you like, is this a person? Is this okay? Is this a bot? If it's a bot, whoever built this is stupid. And like, why should I give my money to this person, right? If I'm having this bad impression, like I'm asking them a question and they just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So here you want to know, you want to watch enough in the training and understand that, hey, there's a process to learn this. And all you do is you go in and you'll go in and create you'll want to set up some attribute, which we'll get to later in the training, and you'll want to set up some go-to block. You want to go in and essentially have some variable where you can either, like mine's empty, mine's completely empty, and I send it off to an advanced AI and have my advanced AI process it, and then either tell my chatbot what to do or not do anything, all right? If you want to have a default message, then you need to essentially, you need to have an attribute and you need to have some way, some filter that you're checking a condition against your user. Like how many times has he triggered this message? If it's been more than 3, don't send it. Or when's the last time he's got this message? And if it's been within 24 hours, don't send it. Or don't do anything here, you know? Or maybe you do something and maybe you just put him, I mean, you could do other stuff. The reason I'm telling you don't do anything is because before I tell you what you should do here is I need to know something about you. I need to know something about your business, what it is that you're trying to do and trying to accomplish. And once we actually map that out and we try to figure out, hey, what is your message? What are you selling? Who are you selling it to? And we map out that process and what it looks like. I can tell you if this thing needs to be empty, if it needs to go to an AI, if it needs to loop back to like some common options like that. You can't do that. Try one of these things to route your user and actually push your user where it goes. Because you can also understand if you do go to Chatbot and you do want to allow users to go in and contact you through Messenger, right? And give them that facility. Why? Because it's going to make it, if you make it easier, I mean, we all know this, right? Maybe we don't know this because we're dense, but we all should know this, that people purchase for lots of reasons, and one of those reasons is facility, right? The ease of a transaction. So if you're providing a messenger service where they can message you on Facebook to ease that transaction and make it easy for you, and then they're messaging you and you don't answer them back, you're not easing the transaction. So you're not facilitating them if they're sending you messages and you're not replying. So what you're doing is creating a disservice for them, and you're creating an advantage now for your competitors who are answering their messages, because they're not going to forget the message. They're going to be like, okay, this dude don't care about me. He's not going to answer me. What about somebody else? Can I message them? All right.
Okay, guys, so what John's talking about here, let's think about this real quick. So if you don't have a bot hooked up to Facebook and you just have your little messenger, people are sending you messages and you have to manually go reply to them. But when you have a bot, they send you a message and you've got it set up with the replies. So you are always in touch with, because we know if you're like me, I want to do stuff right now. If you don't get back to me for 24 hours, I am gone to the next person and already signing up for something.
Yeah, really also, when you're building a bot, it also depends a lot of your strategy. So not on only building a bot, but also the strategy behind it and your copywriting and how to approach your customer. So a lot of people think, okay, I will build a bot, I have a good flow, and then they're waiting for customers or to interact. But it's really also all about strategy and how to approach a customer. Yeah.
You know, Woz, building the bot to me is like building the funnel. You draw it out to me the same way. I'm doing the sequencing the same way. It's just where I put an envelope, you know, for like to send a email. You know, instead I'm going to set up timing, like he said, automatic sequencing with it.
Yeah, great.
It is definitely not just you have to have a plan, and you do have to have good content. So but if you're going to service, like I said before, if you're going to expect to try to service a millennial or anybody like a little step above that, they're going to very soon, they're going to expect you to have this. And if you don't have this, they're going to look down at you, because literally, like, think of today's age. Literally, like, if you guys don't understand technology, like, literally, now, I couldn't do this because, then, to be transparent, I'm not a multi-billionaire and I would need that much money. But if I had that much money, trust me, I could chop my arm off, and then I could go somewhere and just have them put a robot arm, and they would literally microsever it to my neurons, and I could control it with my brain. That is today's technology. It actually exists today. And the influence that as your consumers, that are these little babies that they're growing and growing, and right now it's millennials, right? And they have a huge purchasing power, and if you think you're gonna reach them, and they have to go hunt down information from you because you're too stupid to have an AI to go in and figure out what they want and do the physical task of finding the information because they themselves are too damn lazy to go search it out, well, you're wrong, because that is a millennial's mindset. And very soon they're so catching on to, like, oh, you don't have this? Like, look at millennials. Look at, like, the dudes right after me, right? The next generation right after me. These guys are, everything that they do is an automation on a phone somewhere. They don't, when they want to know something, they don't even type it. They just ask. They're like, what about this? Get some information. Well, what about this? What about this? That's their lifestyle. So, and I hate to say it, but
it's true, because my nephew, when he was 2 years old, took my phone and said, clear your history. And he cleared it because it was slow. 2 years old. And then he's like, hey, man, let's talk to Siri. And all day long, he'll be, hey, Siri. So, yeah, they're born with these in their hand. And if you're not going to be in their how they operate, you know, like old school. My dad likes to go shake a hand and talk to somebody. That don't happen anymore. I mean, we just want to message them. It was a phone call. I went from shaking a hand and talking live to a phone call. Now it's like, I'll just message them. Even the government messages you, you know? I find it quite amazing.
You should shake hands. I mean, you should shake hands, and you should have a phone call. I mean, you should do that.
You should.
But you should also do this. I mean, you should, if the dude that wants to give you money wants to shake hands, then you should shake hands with that dude. You should have your options open. If your goal is to maximize your reach and your ability to actually sell to somebody. So if you don't have a chatbot, there's gonna be really, I mean, at one time you didn't have a Facebook page, and now what business really doesn't? Like, even some still don't today, but would you, I mean, ask yourself that question. Like, anybody that ever watches this video at any time, just ask yourself that question. Would you consider a business without a Facebook page a legitimate business? Would
Absolutely
you that,
not.
like,
No, really not.
No way.
No way.
What?
Everybody has a Facebook page. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, would you, if you meet somebody, like, if you know what, I mean, literally ask yourself this question. Anybody, ask yourself this question. If you meet somebody today and they don't have a Facebook account, like, they are not on Facebook, what is going to be your initial reaction? What's wrong with this person?
Have you been in a coma?
Yeah, like, you'll accept them. Sure, you'll accept them, but you're instantly going to have a judgment about that person and something different about that person. Like, why would they not? I mean, seriously, you don't have Facebook? So you definitely want to be there. So.
Yeah, also the profile page, for example, if you have, for example, your private Facebook page and you don't have a good profile or a good image, you know what I mean? So yeah, also look at that. So before I friend them, yeah, very important. Yeah. Okay,
so you guys got the automate tab and kind of understand what blocks are.
Yeah.
There are a whole lot of components about blocks, and that's obviously, I mean, you see all these things. So, and these things you can learn, and they're not hard. They just take a little bit of time, obviously, to go in and learn. I mean, as long as you have the time and then you're willing to take that time and the knowledge and do something with it afterwards, then you'll be gravy. You'll be good to go. So because that's pretty much everything in the automate tab. That's just where your blocks are and your sequences are. We talked about everything in AI already. So next we'll just go through broadcast. Broadcast is really kind of similar. So you can think there's somewhat of a block element inside a broadcast. So you can think of broadcast as a limited block that you can either send out right now. Like, for example, we talked about we talked about all these people that we have. I can send out a broadcast to them right now and be like, hi. All right, and I can send that to everybody that's ever sent a message to my chatbot, and they just get a message from me right now, hi. all right? Or I could add a trigger. I can add a trigger in here. These are just ways for me to communicate with these. These triggers are, we'll also go over these later, but these are just things that can say, hey, if this condition happens, then I want this message to go out. Like if this attribute is updated or something like that. You can do a schedule for later, so you can be like, hey, this thing's gonna happen on this date and I wanna send out a notification to everybody, all right? So at this date and time, I wanna send this message out to people. You can obviously see, hopefully, how that could be useful. And if you can't, then it's a good thing that you're here because we can help you with that. Because it's a really, really necessary thing, obviously, right? To stay engaged with your people, with people you want to try to market to and get money from, or just communicate to in general. I mean, like my JV team, am I trying to market to them and get money from them? No, not really. But I still need to communicate with them. I still need to send information and be able to provide them information. And it's a team. There's like over 26 people on our team right now. Outside our 40 developers, we got like 26 other team members in the marketing area. And I mean, literally think for me, if I got to answer every single one of their questions when they ask the same dumb question over, because no, it needs to be done by some automated system. If I want to go in and, think about it, I want to make an announcement to everybody. Some people don't understand because they've never been in real business and understand the logistics of trying to get even 7 people together at the same time to tell them something, to get them to understand. Why would I go through the hassle of doing that? I'm just going to use my chatbot and be like, you know what? I'm going to make an announcement at this time and date, and you guys are all going to get it. Just check Facebook. I know you're on Facebook anyways. I can even see that you read my message. Great. Auto post from external source. Let's say, for example, I got a YouTube channel, and whenever I put a video on YouTube, I want to send that video out to my users. So I could do something like that here. I could auto post whenever something happens somewhere else. That could be an external trigger that goes in and pushes out data to my users. All right. And you can see up here, you've got this thing where you can go in and say, hey, I want to create a segment. A good example of this segment, and I'm just talking about that because we're about to talk about it when we go into this people tab, because it's one of the really, really useful things about Chatfuel. You can see here's a segment, the JV team. That's a segment of my audience. You can see that the JV team is part of my audience, right? I've got another part of my audience, which are group affiliates. I've got another part of my audience, which is group members. I've got reachable users, right? You can see I could have even more and more segments. I can have clients, right? And I could have, what do they call those people that you want to get money from and they're not giving me money yet, prospects, right? I could have some prospects. I'd have all these different segments. And you can understand how I can filter by that, right? I can say, hey, for example, I want to post all my new YouTube videos for a particular channel to the JV team, because those YouTube videos are going to be like videos that are that they need to watch, because that's information that they need about the JV team. So whenever I upload it, then it's just going to post out to them automatically, and I don't even have to log into my chatbot. I just, whenever I'm done with the video, it uploads to YouTube, and then YouTube just kind of tells my chatbot like, yo, this is supposed to go out to the Jon Vaughn team, and then everybody on the Jon Vaughn team, they're just like, hey, John, you just sent me a video, and I'm like, yeah. You're right, I did. So thanks a lot, chatbot. How much time? Think about it. Even just that facility. I think we got 26 people. Let's look at that people tab while we're at it. So hopefully you understood everything that there is there on that broadcast. So you look at the JV team here. Here's a JV team, and you see the JV team. Let's look and see. I got to do that again because I lost my little counter. There should be an actual little counter here that tells me how many people there are. But unfortunately, I know better than anybody because I run a software company. That's how it works in software sometimes, is that one time it's there and then tomorrow it's not there, and it works today and it doesn't. And that is a function of development. So that's a function of development. And I have an answer for that. There's ways to mitigate the risk, and there's ways to give real stability. Obviously, look at spaceships. Even spaceships crash, right? And who builds those? The smartest programmers in the world. And how do they do it? They don't do it by some magic. They literally do it through trial and error. It's not like, trust me, every software, and I've built a lot of software, and every software I ever built, I didn't know how to build it. Even every chatbot that I built, I didn't know how to build it. Like even I'm building this add user function in the chatbot, I don't really know how to build it. I'm just building it, and it's going to start working and maybe not work, and eventually it's going to be stable and work. But Chatfuel is relatively stable as you can expect from any real software. So they're relatively, I'm not going to say they don't have issues, because they do have issues. And one of those issues right now is clearly that I've lost my count of how many people are in this segment. But you can see here's a segment, right? You know, me and Leonard and Darla. I just love Darla to death. She's so awesome and tech savvy. Brenni, you're supposed to be in here, and you.
I saw myself. There I am.
See,
I was there 7 hours ago.
So here's another segment that I use. Here's another segment that I use for whenever I'm on meetings with people. Now these guys haven't been cleared out. But whenever I'm on meetings with people, I can send people out a link, and they click that link, and it goes into some block. And in that block, all I'm going to do is set an attribute that this user is on meeting. And then I can go into my people tab, and I can be like, okay, let me send out some information real quick to everybody on this meeting right now, or let me take attendance. All right. But if you go back to that use case of the JV team, I just auto posted out a video from YouTube for you guys. How much time? Although it's not going to take me a lot of time to copy and paste the YouTube URL to 1 or 2 people. If I'm going to do it to this many people, one, I guarantee you, I bet you money, take that YouTube URL and go copy it and paste it to every one of these people in this segment as fast as you can, and Facebook is going to put you in timeout for some time. You are going to have to give a different message every single time, or you're going to have to wait some time. So how much time did I just save myself? I could say at least it's going to take 10 seconds per person. So that's definitely one of the reasons you should have a chatbot. So this is your people tab though, by the way. So it just shows all your people. It just shows you all your people. Here's my entire audience. You can see my people came back now, 268 people here. Now if I look at that JV team, you can see now my people came back 30 out of 28. And these are just, these are segments. So essentially what's a segment? A segment allows me to go in and look at some data, all right? So I can go in and say attended class, let's see, meeting, here we go, all right? So 525, let's look at this. Here's a good example of a segment. So I'm going to select true here, and then I'm also going to select this meeting. All right, and I'm going to give this a name. This is my perfect attendance segment, all right? So I can see that these people have been on both JV team meetings. And what I can continue to do is every time there's a team meeting, I can create a new attribute for that team meeting, and the people who go to that team meeting, I can set that as true. And then I can add that attribute to this segment right here. And then I can just say, hey, I want to see all the people that had perfect attendance to every meeting, and I want to give them something special and do something special for them, because they're the ones that they put in the most effort and took the most action. So here's that segment of people. And you can understand why that's a really, really powerful feature. Another really powerful feature is you can export this data, which means you can give that back to Facebook to create an actual ad audience from these people, and then use that initial ad audience to create a custom audience of lookalike people, so that you can find people with, so that I can essentially query Facebook's, 2 million people, 2 billion users, and say, hey, these 4 people have done really good in my program so far. So here's the people. Now go in and analyze their traits and their demographics and their behaviors, and find me other people that look just like that with the same traits and demographics and behaviors and interests, and show my ad to them, because it seems like that type of person is successfully completing my course, and those are the people that I want to focus on.
So actually, John, what you're saying is you can use also chatbots. So for example, Chatfuel, to run your Facebook ads. So for lookalike audiences, retargeting, the kind of stuff. You can pull all the data from the chatbots.
That's correct. You can get that data out, and you can feed that to Facebook, and create a custom audience. Now, if Chatfuel was awesome, I mean, if they were even more awesome, they'd let you do that right with the marketing API, so that you didn't have to go out to Facebook and do that. You would just click a button and it would create audience and then create lookalike audience, so you can do it with the API. And they are awesome. They just don't have that feature yet. It'd be a great feature if they did add. But you can do an export and create your audience, and that is very beneficial. You can see how that's very beneficial. So all you really have here are these segments that you can go in and create. Like you can see this segment's a really simple one, just JV team is true. And you can look at these people, and then whenever you look at these people, you can see when's the last time they saw one of your messages, when did they sign up and come into your bot, how did they come into your bot, like how did they get into your bot, or what's the source of their last interaction, all right? So how many sessions they've had with you, and how many attributes, how many little pieces of data do you have filled out about them? And are they reachable or not reachable? And that reachable and not reachable just means, have they engaged with your chatbot through message within 24 hours? And that's about it that's there. You can just go in and look at these people and see all the different data points that you have stored on them, and update them or change them and export it, obviously. All right, so that's your people tab. Then you have your configure tab. This people tab is a paid tab. All right. So, and remember, that's not what you want. That's like 2,000 hours worth of work there. So you definitely don't want to dive into that document there. Trust me on that. We're still right here in this first session on a really brief overview, just getting to all the different tabs and all the different things that you have available. All right. So this people tab is a paid tab. So this is a pro feature. You got to upgrade to pro. It starts out at $30 a month, and it scales according to the users that you have. So you can see if I've got 35,000 people, they're going to charge me $975 a month. And that may seem like a lot. Maybe you guys think, hey, that's a lot of money. All right. Well, look, if you're way down here, all right, you got to get to past 1,000 before it's more than $30 a month. All right. And if you think that's a lot, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you think this is a lot at $975 and you got 36,000 people, and you can't get money from those, you can't get more than $975 a month from those people.
If you have 36,000 people and you can't pay that, then you're not doing something right.
Something bad is happening there. So
something bad is happening. You have a bad accountant.
we need to do some R&D in that scenario and see what it is that you're trying to do. Now, maybe you're not trying to monetize the audience. Maybe you're not. All right. Maybe you're not trying to get them to convert and buy anything for you. I personally really couldn't imagine a real scenario and a real use case where that would ever be the case. But if it is some reason the case that you're just not trying to get any money from them at all, you're still trying to deliver them content. And if you want to deliver them content, it's going to cost money to actually reach out those people. So call anybody else in the world and say, hey, could you deliver my message to 100,000 people? I mean, call your local TV station and say, hey, here's my message. Can you deliver it to all the people that watch your channel? They're not, I mean, they're going to say yes for X amount of dollars, and it's most likely going to be more than $975 just for the ad. And you're going to have to produce the actual video content as well. So it does cost money. This people tab is what gets unlocked. Also, what gets unlocked is the Chatfuel branding, which means in your menu, your bots have a menu. So you see, here's my menu here, where a user can find some quick actions, where they can find about our software or our development services or our community membership, any of that good stuff. So if you don't upgrade to Pro, you'll only get 2 of these, and one of them will be a branded button that says powered by Chatfuel. And if you want to get rid of their branding, then you need to pay money. Every bot has the hamburger? No, only bots that have menus.
Yeah, I think
if you were to get a pro Chatfuel account and not set up your menu, which you will find in the next tab that we're going to go over, which is the configure tab, which we were already on, here's your menu and how you set your menu. If this thing is empty, what's up?
Deep.
Hey, Brenni, what's up?
Hey, buddy. Love you, man. Thanks so much. You guys, he's so awesome. But I work hard, but I do ask questions periodically with screenshots. Thank you, Deep.
Okay, that's Deep. Hi, Deep. How you doing, man?
Deep, that's Wasili.
Hey, Vasily.
Hey, nice to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm good.
Great.
One day I'll see Samita too.
He was telling the 3 campaigns already.
You guys, while he's talking to him, I'm going to tell you something. I did not upgrade because I want to see how powerful it is without upgrading. And I do know like 1 or 2 of you got this big powered by Chatfield because I get all your messages when they go out. But I want to see how powerful it is before you upgrade because y'all keep asking me that. So that's why we're doing it this way. But yeah, we're upgrading because we're going to have thousands and tens of thousands of people in our bots. Right, Wasili?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you want to upgrade to get that people tab. So that people tab is really necessary. If you guys give me like 45 seconds real quick.
Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, really, when you upgrade to Pro, for example, yeah, then you have a lot more features. But I can imagine for the beginners which are not into bots, first they want to see the power and how to use it. First to learn it with a free account, and then upgrade it to a Pro once they are more advanced. I did the same with ManyChat also. So first I did the free trial, or the free account is not a trial, but it's free. And from that, I start building, and after I think 3 weeks, I upgraded to Pro. It's only $9.
You can see though the power of this and what it can do without upgrading right away, because I'm already gathering data and putting it on a spreadsheet. Then you can download that as a CVS file, which means that's how you can send emails out. And if it has phone numbers, you can send text messages, and you're gathering information. And that's where he puts all the stuff you want. Do you want their phone number? We didn't put it in there. I have it shut off, but I wanted to test and see how it worked. So I can gather your phone number, your email, anything I want. What's your sex? You know, how much money do you want to spend on coaching? How many days a week do you want it? And so it's got so many tips and ways to automate. It's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
John, awesome, man. All languages. So they can use this anywhere. They just pick their language.
Yep.
And Chatfuel has localization, so all of this is not really an intro class. So this is meant. You see that this intro class is pretty much over, and it's been over for some time for this first session, like the very first intro class, because we've done a lot more than a brief overview of the tabs in Chatfuel. But your menu, Chatfuel supports localization, which means essentially, let's say Wasili. He wants to reach the Dutch market, and he wants to reach the UK market. So he wants to offer content in Dutch, I'm assuming, and in English. All right. So he can go in and localize and say, hey, somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's Dutch below. Yeah,
There we go, right below the Danish.
And others, and then he can add another one and say, hey, I want Dutch and English. Now, that's only going to help him in his menu, and his menu is going to be localized. The rest of his bot is not going to be localized. He could localize it though, so he could localize his own bot if he wanted to. It just means that essentially every block that you have, you're going to have 2 blocks, and inside one of those blocks, you're going to essentially be like, hey, if dude's locale, it should be his locale. I can't remember exactly what they call it here, but if this dude's locale, where he's from, is Dutch right here, then send him over here to this Dutch content. If it's English, send it over here. All right. So now you're gonna have to have 2 separate blocks for every. If you think what you're gonna want to do is, I mean, think of a great use case. Again, I'm not a marketer, and like it really, like sometimes it just really gives me a headache to talk about marketing stuff. But you see all these people, they go in and they get this, really simple content, this really, this free content, this little value, and then they offer as a little gift for you to make a micro transaction, right? And be like, give me a little bit of information, I'll give you a little bit of information. We'll keep having this little courting process until you give me some money, I give you some real value, right? So you can think of this little process, right? Like snippet of information, dude interested, he bites, nibbles the hook, he gives up, piece of information, you provide more valuable content like a download or a training video. Let's say this video that's recorded and is now just ever perpetuating on an automated system, providing value to people who just like you didn't know about something until somebody told them, because that's typically how information works. So
what is great about that, so Wasili, like you do it in English, and then you just hire somebody for a few bucks an hour, and all they're going to do is translate it into Dutch and in the block right below it.
It's all in one bot then. You have all languages in one bot if you want. So only have to translate a block, and then you have, for example, Danish, Dutch, English, Swedish.
Right.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Yeah.
See, and that's we have different languages, you know, like we have Italian, we have German, you know, we have people around the world in our bots. So this is wonderful to learn. It's a block and how to set it up. I'll be watching this part again.
Trust me, there's a whole structure that I can tell you on how to organize things and how it makes, like if you look at and trust me, I know how to do this. I'm really good at this. So I'm really good at this software stuff. If you look here, these are typical blocks. These are non-content blocks. They're just function blocks. They're called routers. So what is this router? This router, you guys, you know, as affiliates, you can go into the Chatbot and you can say, hey, I want to sell this product at this price. All right.
Yep.
So now when somebody comes into the Chatbot and they inquire about a product, what price do we show them? Well, we show them a price according to a router. All right. So you as a person have set, I want this price, and we've got a router. Whenever somebody inquires about product A, we put them into this product A router, and we decide, okay, do they need to go here to see this price, or here, or here? You can understand that this router would be the same as your language, right? You would have user wants business hours, and you would have a Dutch keyword for that and an English keyword for that. When are you open? What time are you open till? When do you close? Stuff like that, which would route into an intent router that would say, okay, if this dude's he's asked this question and needs this content. If he's in English, give him the English version. If he's in Spanish, give him the Spanish version. If he's in Dutch, give him the Dutch version. If he's Polish, give him a beer or whatever.
Give him vodka. What are you talking about?
Vodka, yeah.
There's vodka drinkers over there. The Dutch would be the wine drinkers of the family.
Yeah, wine and cheese.
I'm tequila.
yeah, wine and cheese.
Medicinal.
So on this configure tab, this is where you upgrade to Pro. It's where you see how much money you got to pay somebody. It's where you connect your bot. It's where you disconnect your bot. It's where you add your menu. It's where you add your localization. It's also where you set your bot's time zone, because you may want the bot to have a time zone. It does have a time zone, and you may want to set it local to your time zone so that what you do also is on the same time zone as the bot. It's where you can set up payments. Chatfuel allows you to accept really rudimentary one-off payments inside they don't allow anything really robust like subscription payments or dynamic payments where a user can go in and, like, you can't have a shopping cart. You can't have a shopping cart where a user can say, hey, I want this product, this product, this product, this product, and add it. You can, but what you're going to essentially have to do is not something that you're going to want to do. You have to do something called create permutations in math, meaning if you had 17 products, you need to calculate every single possible way that users could add those combinations of those products into a cart, because they only allow you static. You have to go in and create things and say, hey, if they click this, they're going to make a transaction right now of X amount. So they don't allow that shopping cart feature. So that's why we closed the gap, and Chatfuel is really good about that, though. That's one of the things. I don't know if I really like it or I really dislike it. Most of the times I really like it, but what they've done, and part of their business philosophy, which helps them to some extent, is what they do is if they don't really have to do it, they don't do it. So meaning if Facebook's already done something for you, they don't really go in and build out that functionality in their platform, because you can do it through Facebook, and it's going to take them time to build it so you can do it in their platform, and they want to build other stuff, right? And then if they see that they've got users that need a thing or they want some additional thing, like a bot shopping cart. they may, instead of building it, say, okay, well, there's another software out there already that really facilitates that, so just use that until we build it, because we need to build something else and work on something else. So that's one of the reasons that we built a software that essentially just facilitates dynamic invoicing and subscription payments, and literally having a bot shopping cart inside your chatbot. You can do right off the bat natively. You can do really, really simple payments. If somebody's gonna, like, for example, let's say you do coaching calls, and that coaching call is $500 a call, right? And that's your package. You can go in and define that, and a user can click it, and he can pay you the money. So that's awesome, right? Chat extensions. What do you need to know about that at a basic level? Absolutely nothing. You need to know that they're really cool, and if you want to learn how to build them, that's going to take you about 4 years, and that's probably going to take you about 4 years to really actually understand how to build them, because you're going to have to write a lot of code. But you do want them. It would be any business, trust me, is better off with the chat extension, because it allows you to do a lot more cool stuff. You can think of them as little applications inside your with your chatbot. Like, for example, one of the ones that I use, I can't show it to you right now, but one of the ones that I use allows me to just go into that chatbot and use their little chat extension that allows me just to make you know what animated GIFs are, right? Like animated pictures. It allows me to draw an animated picture. So like I can go in and physically draw something, and after I draw it, it will render it as an animated GIF. So I can write like "I love you" and put a heart, and it will take me drawing that as a GIF, and I can send it right off to my wife. If I'm like didn't come home with her, and I want to convince her that, you know, even though I'm not there at home with you, I really love you. So here's a little 5 second. They're really cool, and they allow you to interconnect. What's really cool about them is the only real way that a bot can interact in a group conversation. So a bot can interact in a group conversation via a chat extension. So,
but that's why we have John, people. If you see anything you like here, this is why we're doing this 8, to make you aware of how to do digital marketing and automate, but also to make you aware of opportunities to work with us in either coaching or get into our digital marketing community with us. So we got things for you coming, but if you want right now, you can, you know, message us, or we'll send it out in the bot if you want to talk to us and get started like right away before the next call on Monday or whatever.
Well, chat extensions are awesome, and one of the great things about chat extensions is, like, if you're into following, you know, online people, marketing people, because that's something. If you're not into that, then I'm somewhat into that. I'm like not hardcore into that, but you should be into trying to figure out how to increase your reach and how to increase what you're able to do as either an entity or a business, obviously, because if you own a business, then you know you are the business, right? So even if you're
is a chat extension kind of like a extension for like when you do Google Chrome extensions? Are they kind of the same, or are they not?
Very much the same.
Okay.
So almost you can think of them as very much the same, meaning that you got your chatbot, and that is a conversation in Messenger that a user, you know, you've got Messenger on your phone. Yep. And you've got, like, you can clearly see different people that you've interacted with, different businesses in your message conversation. Now you also have something called a message tray. All right, that's what they're showing you right down here in this little picture. You also have something called a message tray. In that message tray, any chatbot, and this is why they're so powerful, because like I was saying, if you're into, you know, pursuing digital marketing and listening to some of the people, at least in what I've heard, and I try to make it, I'm really pursuing this because I'm trying to level up my company myself, and I don't know anything about digital marketing, so I'm going to the digital marketing people, and they're talking about being omnipresent, right? And you really notice this, right? And you have to understand this in a business, like retargeting, how that happens. You know, somebody goes and they interact with you, and because of that, you start showing them even more and more messages until you've showed them so much stuff and give them so much stuff where you're ready to actually present an offer and try to get them to take an action. and buy the thing. And they talk to you about ever, omnipresence. And you guys experience this every single day whenever you go. I mean, I know you guys consciously experience this. You're on Facebook, you see some ads, and then you go somewhere else to some website for some reason. And then whenever you go to some other website, you see ads for the website that you were just at. And whenever you go back to Facebook, you see ads for both websites now. All right. And now you do this forever. And maybe you've noticed that you don't do this forever. You do this for X amount of time, and then you don't see those ads anymore. And then if you go back to the website, you start to see those ads again because they're retargeting you. You're being omnipresent. So that omnipresence is something that they really hit heavy on how to build a scalable brand and really increase everything is to be omnipresent. You have to, and you don't have to do it with, think about it. You don't have to have a huge audience, right? You don't have to be advertising to 60,000 people. You can advertise to 100 people and just spend the money to always be in front of their face, and you will get conversions, right? You think if you spend the money to get in front of 60,000 people for 20 seconds, what's a better investment, to do that or to get in front of 50 people for 3 hours and get them to see over all these little micro things and see you and be like, what are those people going to think? All right. Think of the two different scenarios. The 60,000, they see you for 10 seconds. They don't know you, and they never see you again because you got to fork up money again. So
crazy.
What about the 50 people? They see you every day. They think you're rich. Like every single day, they're like, this dude is targeting me with ads. Like this dude is like spending money to see me. He must be successful. Like I can't get away from this person. It's much more effective there. All right. So, and that's why you hear these, that's why you see people like literally, case in point, I'll tell you, I mean, take a $5,000 course and I will boil it down to that thing right there. Like go on any one of these gurus and take their little 5,000 IM course, how to be an internet marketer and how to make all this money. And literally it's going to boil it to two things. They're going to tell you, take massive fucking action. They're going to say that without the fuck word, and they're going to say it in a lot of different ways. And then they're going to tell you, be omnipresent. That's it. That's literally all they're going to say. Is,
That's all they're going to say. I've been through $50,000 in coaching to say, make sure
the gist of it.
People.
And this chat extensions, it allows you to be omnipresent because whenever somebody goes to your bot, if your bot has a chat extension, now they don't even have to be in your bot anymore. They just have to be in the Messenger application inside Facebook Messenger. And anytime they open up your message tray, they're going to see your chat extension because like I said, I could be in my Messenger and I could want to send my wife that little, I could want to draw a little frowny face and send it to her because she's just for whatever reason, because we're lovebirds, obviously. I could want to draw a little picture of two birds kissing because we're lovebirds and we're romantic, all right? And send that to her. Well, guess what? I'm going to see that in my chat extensions. And now even you can understand, even that arbitrary utility, if that's got your bank's name on it, or somebody's name on it, you're getting utility, you're thinking of that person, and that's omnipresence. And these guys allow you in a non-intrusive way to be omnipresent with the chat extension. But it does require custom code, it does require development, but they're cool, which is why I said for this intro, you don't need to know anything about it. Admins, these are people that just have access to your bot. You can invite other people, so you can create a bot, and then you can freak out and be like, I don't know what to do, but John seems like a genius, or those guys seem like geniuses. Let me just have them do it, and you can just give us the admin link, and then we can go in and build it out for you.
We are geniuses, and we do know how to do a lot of stuff, but I like automation. So what am I doing, John? I'm like, I want to get people and put them in front of John. Then he and his little team does everything, and they send me a check. But I work on it. I go through everything. I'm going through the software. I'm learning everything I can. I watch videos, and I do it because I need to know what you're doing, because I want to be able to do it, but I'm not to the extent of as genius as you and 40 programmers. So,
yeah, Brenni. Also, what a lot of people doing is only watching videos, but you have to take action. You have to work on it, because you can watch all those chapters, and once you are on the last chapter, you don't know what the first chapter was. So start building after the first chapter and then go for it.
Oh, did you get more? Where are you at?
Did you see someone? This is one of the cool things about chatbots. This chatbot, it's just reporting to me like, hey, somebody just clicked your link. You got a new user in your chatbot, and he's just sending me a message like, hey, this guy now is a new lead for me. So thanks, chatbot. Yeah,
I think for affiliate marketing, this is a really great tool because,
awesome.
I didn't know that it really exist that you can use a chatbot for affiliate marketing, like affiliate links, notification, that kind of stuff. Yeah, for me, it's
John, do you know what that's one of the hardest things is the affiliate stuff, finding it and having it be up before I found you, because I'm like, oh my God, no one has affiliate. You have to pay tons of money to get started, and it's complicated. And even with WordPress, you know, you'd get the apps, but they didn't always work together, and most places don't have affiliate marketing. You have to pay like, you know, quite a bit of money to do it, and then you showed me how to use it with Invoicing You, and I'm like,
so also for affiliate marketing, when you see this bot Jon built, for example, we have affiliate, for example, build a role, and we have to redirect them to a website. Jon don't even need or uses a website. It's all in the bot, so you're not worrying about the cookies, you know. So now with this GDPR, people have to click if they accept cookies. If they don't, then you're losing them. But now everything is in a bot, so you are guaranteed that this lead is in your channel. Yeah.
And the good thing is, if you're talking about, in the interest of affiliate marketing, if you're talking about affiliate marketing, that you know, some people, and especially if you're into affiliate marketing, you know, a lot of people get worried about the user gonna freak out when they say an affiliate ID, right? And if you're telling a user like, hey, use this thing, it's awesome, and they see an affiliate ID, a lot of affiliates are scared about that, right? Like, okay, well, they're gonna see my ID, they're not even gonna believe me because they know that I'm just saying this because there's an affiliate ID, and they're scared to actually show that affiliate ID. Well, if you do it on the chatbot, look,
they don't even know.
It's the affiliate ID embedded right in here, and the dude doesn't even know about it. I mean, they can't even see it. They have no ID, but yes, this is being tracked by an affiliate. And if this dude goes in and pays for this thing right now, that affiliate's going to get an instant notification saying, cha-ching, you just made
We like the dings.
Yes, do that again. Try that again. Let's hear a couple more of them. And this guy doesn't know. So, and a lot of people are scared about that. I've seen that. Now, I'm not an affiliate marketer. So I've built lots of software. I've been building software for, and all honestly, I mean, I started building, like, you know, my entry into software engineering was programming robots that welded together parts at car factories. If you can imagine a lean manufacturing line, like literally a assembly line factory where all sorts of parts from all these cells are coming together, and you got like a bunch of little parts, and through a process, a bunch of people are putting them together into even bigger and bigger parts until you need machines to go in and pick them up and hold them in positions and come in and weld them and move them around. I programmed those machines to go grab those parts, and that's essentially where I got into programming.
John, you should build a robot for the Robo contest where they kill each other on TV. They have the saws coming down and they're blowing them up. I bet you'd win.
I didn't win, but I've done that before. Not for anything that was aired professionally on TV, but for a makerspace in Louisville at a hackathon. So that's quite fun. But I've built lots of software. I've built software for affiliate marketers. I got like 3 affiliate platforms that we built for affiliate marketers, and that's one of the things that I've seen in that space that they don't like is, you know, people that they think, you know, hey, somebody's gonna see that affiliate link, and they're just like, the affiliates have a fear. If I show that affiliate link, that the end user is gonna go just copy and paste the root URL and buy that product, and I'm not gonna get credit for the promotion, right? Every one of them is scared of that, and that's why they use URL shorteners and try to hide that, right? From the bot, it's all encapsulated. You don't even know about it.
We love bots.
Amazing, yeah, amazing stuff.
So you got a broadcast API token. This allows you to essentially allow an external application to control your chatbot and send out information and do stuff. You got domain whitelisting, which just means that you can allow some features of your chatbot that will show in the Grow tab to be on certain domains. And you got messenger extension URLs. Those messenger extension URL is what makes this pop up right in Facebook, instead of opening up in a new tab and exposing the URL, making this open up in this iframe inside Facebook where it's nice and pretty and branded to your page right inside Facebook. That's done through this messenger extension URL, and that's signed to this tab. Then you got the Grow tab. The Grow tab just consists of a lot of different tools that allows you to build your list. So you got a customer chat plugin, You can put this on your website where people can have like an actual chat with you. All right. That kind of looks something like this. That kind of looks something like this. I think I got one installed somewhere on this website.
I'm pretty sure you had one on Text in Bulk because it popped up.
Here's a little customer chat widget where a user can click this, and you can see for this bot, it asks them, you know, what they want to do. Do they want to report a bug, or do they want tech support or customer support, or do they want to request a new feature inside the software? All right, that's what that is. That's a customer support widget. So,
well, man, you could really use that. That just popped in my mind. Customer support, frequently asked questions. Boom, boom, boom. Guys, will that save you a little bit of time and stress? Hello. I love it.
On your website, I mean, automate all that. So essentially, look, I programmed robots. All right. I worked in a call center. In college, and part of my job was customer service. All right. Now I did a lot of tech support, but when I first started, I did customer service. I came in as a phone agent and just listened to people talk about how they tried to use a coupon, and the coupon was expired 3 months ago, but the cashier wouldn't accept the coupon, and they didn't understand that, right? So literally, there was 150 of us in the room, you know, just getting on phone calls. And what did we do? Like literally, our entire, and for me it was so easy as an engineer because my brain just like is like, okay, this is a process and a function. But it's like literally, dude's talking, we're listening. As listening, we're taking keywords, typing keywords in a screen. As typing keywords, little KBs, little knowledge-based articles are saying, okay, we have all those keywords in here. Does it sound like he's saying customer tried to use expired coupon? Customer wants to know product expiration date. Oh, this one. Explain process, what data give back to customer, what to do, how to get information. And think, I made $17 an hour whenever I worked there. Now that's not a lot of money, you know, it's definitely not anywhere close to the money that I make now, but it's still $17 an hour for a warm body. There's 150 of us in there. And what are we doing? Something that could technically be automated, because AI can listen to that dude, look up the same thing, just vomit out the information. How much, I mean, now just imagine at the same time that I'm working there, I'm getting paid for doing that thing that could be automated, and I also have a certain potential, right? Where not only are you paying me to do this thing, but I also have this other potential where I could be doing something else to generate you some revenue or fulfill some other function for you that I can't be doing because I'm having to do this thing that you're having to pay me for that could be automated. Do you understand the exponential gain there? Like, one, you don't have the cost. And now not only do you not have the cost, well, if you elect to keep the cost, you have a huge potential gain based on the new thing that I could be doing because you automated, or you fired 150 people. And maybe that sucks for those 150 people, but trust me, if you're that business owner, you ain't so, I mean, you're a little sad maybe. I mean, you're not sad about those 150 people because hopefully you train them. They're great. What are you happy about? You just saved, I mean, you just saved 150 people's salary. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That can all be done. I mean, that literally can all be done inside a chatbot. These chatbots, even a chat. Now, I wouldn't really recommend it to do it with the Chatfuel bot, but could you extend a Chatfuel bot to take voice information and process that voice information and give back voice information or give back textual information? Hell yeah, we can do it right now. So, I mean, not physically. I mean, we could do it right now, but it would obviously require a process, an intake process to go in if I'm going to be doing it to extract the value and the money for doing that. But is it possible? Yeah, it's totally possible. There's a lot of stuff but it's going to be a little complex. To do something like that's going to be a little complex because you're going to actually have to record the data and send the data out to another NLP that's a third-party API that's going to analyze the voice and then come up with what the voice said, and then basically send it to another engine. But it could be built. Anything that you want to.
That's why we do this for you, so you don't have to, but do learn the basics.
So you can acquire users from comments. You can understand that you can post things on your Facebook page, and if users comment on it, you can automatically respond to them in Messenger and send them a message so that now they're on your Messenger list. You can submit your bot to the discovery section. That is the only marketing I've ever done for one of my bot, and it's generated me over $40,000. No shit, $40,000 worth of sales of a chatbot course. And honestly, what's that course? It was a course kind of like this. Some people showed up live. I gave them some training, explained some stuff to them. People asked questions. I answered it. I recorded it and took that recording and added it to about 150 hours of other recordings of teaching each and every single thing that you could actually want to know to go from a novice to I want a full-time career doing this for other people. Anywhere in between where you want to be. Maybe you want to just know enough about it so you can talk to somebody and find that ninja and be like, okay, I want to hire you and this is what I want you to do. Or maybe you want to quit your job and offer it as a full-blown service. I don't know, but regardless, I can get you there. And the only advertising that I ever did was this right here. I submitted my bot to the Messenger discovery section, and now whenever people go into Messenger and they're just discovering, and trust me, if you're not doing that, that don't mean anything. That doesn't mean that the other 47% of the 2 billion people on Messenger are in there on an elevator with nothing to do. I mean, look, at any time, I mean, honestly, think about it. Anytime you go around any real people, most people are somehow occupied with their phone. And most people, to be honest, and how do I know? Because to be transparent, I do the same thing. Most people, even if they don't have anything to do on their phone, they do something on their phone. They pretend like they're doing something on their phone. And what are they doing? They're just discovering stuff. They're in there on Facebook discovery, looking at shit. Like they're in other places just looking at stuff. And the average person is just really killing their, like wasting their life on Facebook, right? Let's be real about it. Let's really be real about it. The average person in today's society is wasting away their life just right on Facebook.
They were talking about people that would have nervous breakdowns if they got their phone taken away and they could not get on social media. Me, no big deal. It doesn't at all. It's like, man, I'm going to the lake. I don't want nothing. Nope, don't care. But I saw people have nervous breakdowns. It's like, no, I have to get on Facebook. And it's like, okay, you have issues. We can't help you. All right, so where are we at? We are going down to acquire users from your website. I see Messenger plugins. That's just what, your HTML code.
This is landing pages. You can create little Chatfuel landing pages.
Love it. Did it.
These I don't like myself, but if you want to use them, you can use them. So just a little landing page that you can send somebody to get them to subscribe to your bot. Acquire users from your website. Yeah, this is just a little messenger button or a little plugin users can click. All these are little tools. We have a whole series, a whole training section about each and every one of these, how to use them at a basic level and how to use them at a powerful level. For example, to whenever somebody's inquiring on a specific product about your website and they click on one of these buttons to get him information directly into the chatbot about that particular product without him having to even ask a question other than just click the button. So these are all ways for you to grow your list. All right.
Boom.
Some of them you can do them right here. Some of them you can't. Like this one, for example, get a messenger code. This is really powerful. You can't do it in Chatfuel. They send you to Facebook. So guess what? We built a software for you called Scan Code Generator that allows you to generate those really, really easily. Since they're sending you to Facebook, it's just another little easy tool. But you can get those codes. All of these are just ways for you to grow your audience, so really necessary. And then finally, you got an Analyze tab. If you're analytical and you want to actually look at data and see, users coming in, what that looks like. If you want to see, new users by day, what that looks like. If you want to go in and see user activity, which, you've got some input received, some broadcast read, some active users, whatever any of this means. If you want to look at sources, like here, I can see right here, look. I know, I can tell just by looking at this, but I know that this is Jon Vaughn. I know that this is my ID, right? If I were to actually come back to this chatbot, I'm pretty sure that if I just put in here ID, I've got a helper function that gives me that value right there. You see it ends in 1700. And if I look over here, I can see that this is 1700 and it's prefixed with an AFF underscore. So what does this tell me? I've referred I've referred 52 people I've referred 27 people into the chatbot, and they've had 52 interactions. So if I were to actually go in, for example, and look, I don't know why that's so big, but if I were to go in and look at the affiliate record for all the affiliates that I've actually signed up and see, hey, here's some affiliates, and then just look in here and see, here's this one right here. Not sure who that is. But let's take a look. That is Leonard. All right, this guy right here. Yeah. So I can now just easily see that.
I want to make a comment real quick, guys. For those of you that are watching, do you see this spreadsheet he has set up? This is how he does his coaching with us, if you want to call it that. Our success steps on his team is it's in a bot. And we go through the bot and we've entered all this information, and then he's used the JSON and Zapier and put it on the spreadsheet. What good is that? Oh my God, what good is that? There's your affiliate link, all the information you want about the person, what level they're selling everything at, because we can choose. John says, this is the retail, like if one's $5.97, I can sell it for 97 bucks if I want, or I can sell it for $5.97. He has our emails in there. He has our phone numbers in there. I mean, he has the date we joined in there, our affiliate link. So this is, I just want you to see what you can do with a bot, and we can help you do anything you want with a bot. Because I said to John, I want to do a webinar with a bot. And he goes, well, then go build one. And I'm like, well, shit, tell me how, you know? And it's like he got me started and gave me the basics. And when he taught me how you can pick a date and pick a time, I was like, what? And then put stuff on a spreadsheet. So we're showing you the power of what you can do, how you can be organized, and we all like organized, and be able to find information and automate, because everybody wants more free time. I mean, they don't want to be sitting in front of a computer when they can be outside boating, skiing, tubing, drinking margaritas.
Unless they're me. I do want to be sitting in front of the computer, but I'm not performing arbitrary tasks that a program can do for me.
George could do.
Yeah, I want to be programming other processes to save me more time so that I can sit in front of a computer longer and learn more stuff. And I can not just sit in front of a computer. Yeah, I obviously want to live a balanced life, but
right.
I'm a tech guy. I love sitting in front of a computer, and I would much rather sit in front of a computer learning something, or building some cool robot, or doing something useful with my time, other than doing something that I know could be automated, and I'm kind of dumb for doing. Like, it's good that I'm doing because it's not automated and it needs to be done, but I could set up an automation to do it. I would much rather just set up the automation because it saves me an infinite amount of time. You know, even with my own employees, I hold training sessions just for them, and I'm very picky with them about doing things in a very particular fashion, because one of my jobs after being my entry point was programming CNC machines, and one of my jobs was a line leader in a lean manufacturing company. And part of my job was literally to go in, with tape measures and look at the distances between two machines and the travel time, just for a user to go in from one machine and take a part and have to take a step over to get it to the next machine, versus not have to take a step and just move it like that, and calculate the amount of time it will save for us just to save that, microsecond transaction, and how much production that extra production that we're going to get. We're going to get, let's say, 17 additional parts a day, just because that user no longer has to take that little step anymore. And those 17 parts a day are going to go into an engine that we're selling for $1,200 a unit. So how much extra time, how much money did we just make? That was part of my job, was to go in and actually facilitate the lean automation of things. So I'd much rather automate, because in the end,
who would love bots is Henry Ford.
Oh yeah,
he would be a bot selling fool, man. He'd be on my team for sure, John. I'd be going out after him, because he'd be going automation. Because guys,
he's got a lot of bots, just not chat bots. He got word bots.
Yeah, but just think, guys, he really created the flow and made it so that the assembly line, that was him. So I'm thinking Ford assembly line, he'd love it. So guys, we're gonna wrap this up.
I have one question, John. I can imagine a lot of people now are new and they're seeing you doing awesome stuff. And I can imagine a lot of people think, man, I can't do this because it's so complicated. what do you advise those people who are new in the chatbots and yeah, so they can do it, but what's the first step?
Go set up an account go pick a chatbot building platform and connect a bot to Facebook and start building it. And if you don't understand it, run a Google search. I mean, obviously buy my course, take my course. I guarantee you 100% you'll know exactly what it is.
That's what I want to say.
No big deal. Don't buy my course.
That's what I want you to say, because in your group, like we do, so I'm an advanced many chat builder, but when I see Chatfuel, in the beginning for me was all, as they call it in Dutch, abacadabra. And once in your group and all these courses you have and all those lives, you really understand the whole flows and how to build stuff. And yeah, it takes you to the next level because you save so much time once you're in the group and you see all those videos. You're explaining also because you're very advanced even chatbot builder. And for me, it's really the next step. As an entrepreneur to automate my business. And I can imagine a lot of people when they see this, they are new, they think, oh man, for me it's too much complicated. Once I jump in this group, I get lost. But I don't think that's
the opposite.
Yeah, that's the opposite, because everybody helps each other even in the group. And yeah, we're building teams, for example, I work with Brenni, and we have also other girls. So maybe watching online a bit, because here it's now, let me see, 22:15. Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So don't think it's too complicated. You can do it because, yeah, in the group with Jon and also with us with the support, you can really also do this. What Jon does.
And Jon does lots of lives and demos. And what I love about that you do, Jon, is that you do calls, so we can actually see what you're doing instead of have to sit. They're live calls. Like he will go out and do a text in bulk call, and somebody will call him and he'll close them right on the. I think you're brilliant myself.
Yeah.
You say you're not a marketer, and I'm like, man, that guy's closing $200,000 deals, $400,000 deals. He's got a monkey running around screaming. That one day you were talking to that guy, I could not stop laughing because he goes, do you have an animal there? Because George was in the background.
Brenni, what I think is there was a robot was building Jon, I think.
I think a robot did build Jon. I think he's like a cyborg or some damn thing. He's unique, guys. That's what we're going to tell you. Best customer service, best interaction ever is Jon Vaughn. He's my hero.
That's what I would tell you. If you think it's too complex, that's just in your mindset. What I would tell you is you got one or two options. And I'd be blunt about it. Get that out of your fucking mind, or don't do it.
You guys, the easiest thing, I'll tell you what to do. Go get your page set up and hook up ManyChat. You don't have to watch training, I don't believe. You can click on stuff and figure it out. But there's ManyChat training. Buy Jon's course. We'll send out a link, you guys. You can buy his course. We're going to have all kinds of little specials to help you, whether you want to build it, whether you want coaching, whether you want it built for you, not just built for you. Do you want it run for you? Whatever you want, we're here. We have the solution for you.
Yeah, for example, I had one guy here in the Netherlands. He wants to start a chatbot agency, but yeah, it takes a lot of money and to learn things. And so I think this is really an, do you call it, accelerator program when you're in Jon, because once you're in, you're getting into this whole train who's rolling every day. And if you are really consistent and you're focused, then you learn a lot in a short time. And I think once you want to run a chatbot agency, you want to start with it, I think this is the ideal thing, because you can source it out to Jon, for example, in his team. He has 40 programmers there in India, really professionals. Yeah. So, yeah, I think...
the group isn't about me either, man. The group isn't even really about me and you guys buying purchases, buying services, and buying things from me. The group is about getting you guys to understand that you are in control of your lives and you facilitate everything. I'm there to help you, and so is the community, but everything that you need. I mean, can you get a really good bot developer from me for really cheap and start a chatbot agency tomorrow without having any initial overhead? Yeah, sure you can. Do you have to do it for me? No, I'll still show you the process of how to go in and do that with somebody else. Can I guarantee results if you go do it with somebody else? No, because those dudes can't, they don't work with me. I can only guarantee results if you obviously hire me and somebody that works for me, but I can still show you that you don't have to do it with me. You can do it with anybody. You can take a risk and do it with somebody else. You can take a risk, what you would consider, I'd call a calculated risk, because I know it's not a risk, because I know my execution capacity, but you can take a risk and from your perspective and do it with me or somebody else. But there are ways that you can go in and tomorrow have a chatbot agency with no real overhead costs. Now, the way I look at it is you got two things. You either have time or you have money. If you're going to come to me and tell me that you don't have one of the other, then I'm going to say it's going to cost you a lot of money for me to get you where you need to be. Because if you don't have time and you don't have money, there is something that you're severely doing wrong, because where's all your time going? You're trading it for money. So where's all the money going?
So guys, if you dream it, we will build it.
Yeah, that's a great, it's great finishing here. Yeah, great. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jon.
Thank you, Jon, so much. This is very informative. Guys, the replay will go out. Yes, it will, because I'm going to go to Chatfuel and I'm going to go set it up. So guys, just to let you know, though, technology can be freaky. Things happen like today, which is weird, but that's just the way life is. So if you don't like to mess with technology and all the hassles and struggles, and you don't want to do all that stuff, that's what we're for. That's what we're here to do. So I want to thank everybody on Facebook for showing up and sticking in there and commenting and sharing and liking. And everybody here, we're going to end this call. And then there's a few people on the line still here that we want to talk to and answer their questions and see how we can help them. Jon Vaughn rocks.
Thank you very much, Jon. You're great, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
He's our hero.
My pleasure, guys.
Thank you, man.